welcome to our second video in this three-part video series on creating your ideal healing practice to leave the stress and the sacrifice behind and to create that ideal practice to go from part-time in your practice to full-time. So in the first video we talked about beliefs and the importance of clearing beliefs. In this video we're actually going to practice one of the main tools that I use in my group programs with my private clients to clear specific beliefs. And we're also going to talk about the second key that I have found as being so huge and so helpful in creating my ideal practice, and that is, drumroll, community. So we all have reasons or stories why we haven't joined a community yet, or why we're not more deeply involved with the communities that we're a part of. So I want to address some of those and talk about the three biggest reasons why we don't join a community or why we don't grow more deeply inside of one. But before that, I wanted to share a little bit about my biggest breakthrough that I ever had because of a community. So I've had lots of big shifts on my own, on my meditation cushion, doing my own personal work, or even doing one-on-one work. But I'd have to say that some of my biggest shifts have come from being part of a community. So this one was the shift out of needing to save the world. I used to need to save the world. It wasn't a desire. It wasn't a would be nice. It was a need. I woke up every morning and the bar was set up here that my mission today, if I choose to accept it, is to save the world. Now, the other side of that is that I needed to fix the world, and I needed to fix all the people in the world because there were so many idiots, there were so many assholes, and there were so many broken people that needed my help. Now, I'm not saying that that there are no people in the world that need my help, but having the belief that everybody needs my help, having the belief that I have to save them, and also having the arrogance and the ego to say that I'm the only one that can save them because no one else is doing it properly, that's a whole different ballgame. So with the help of a really amazing spiritual community in Toronto, Canada, where I lived at the time, and actually where I'm back for 2 weeks on a little mini work vacation, I was able to move through that. I was able to let that go. I was able to stop trying to be Jesus, basically, and I'm not being disrespectful, but I was able to let that go so I could just do my work and work really well with the people that showed up. And since doing that, since letting that go, my practice has expanded every single day. I have more clients than I ever used to before. I make more money than I ever used to before. And my clients report way better results than they ever used to get before because now they don't need to. They don't have to in order to validate my ego and my insecurities. So that was a huge shift that I had inside of community. So you can understand why I'm passionate about community, and I'm passionate about this as a key pillar in creating your ideal practice. So why don't we join communities? Well, the three big reasons that I can see is, number one, we think we can go faster alone. It's that lone wolf thing that our society loves to talk up in so many movies and so many stories that, doing it on your own, if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself, and that communities slow you down and other people slow you down. Well, it's just not true. The movies are movies, but it's not true. If we really want to make sustainable change in our life, it needs to be part of a community. The second reason is because we may just not have made up our minds yet. Maybe there's too many communities that look really good or feel good, or maybe there's not enough, and so we can't make up our minds. We have commitment issues, but around communities. And the third reason is because we might be afraid of heartbreak or disappointment or being let down, getting hurt. And I had a very personal experience with this. I was part of a Christian church. I love going to church even though I'm not technically Christian. And when I was at church one day, I had the very real calling to join the band. I asked God, what's next for me? I asked Spirit, what is next for me on this path? And Spirit said, join the band. So I asked, may I join the band? And because they knew me quite well at that church, they said, well, we have to ask, has your theology changed? Do you believe that Jesus is the only way? And I had to be honest and say, no, I don't. I believe Jesus is a beautiful way, but he's not my only way. And so they very politely asked me not to join the band because that was a very key part for all band members. Now, they were great about it. They really were. But I was heartbroken. I didn't realize how heartbroken I was until I was talking to a friend a little later that day on the phone, and I just shared what I'd been doing with my day, and I just burst into tears. I had no idea how much it had affected me, how much it impacted me. So we have that happen all the time in community. We pour our heart and our souls into something, we really get aligned and excited, and then we get let down. And so we make the decision that we're never going to join another community, or we're never going to grow more deeply in the communities that we're a part of. And it's a real shame, because we miss out on so much of the juice and the magic that is present in communities. So Belief clearing. I promised you that we do a little bit of that. So let's clear one belief for each one of those reasons and see if we can bring a little bit more lightness into this idea of community so that you can open up to the perfect community for you. So the first one, the belief, so here's the tool. So the belief that you can go faster and get more done on your own. Whew. Would you be willing to destroy that at the point of creation? And it's either a yes or it's a no. And I forgot to tell you, when I twitch, when I yawn, it's just energy moving. I'm okay. Don't worry about me. Second one, the belief that there's no good communities left to join or that there's too many good communities. Either way, you can't make up your mind. Would you be willing to destroy that at the point of creation? And third and final, the belief that if you join a community, you're going to get hurt, heartbroken, let down, or disappointed, and that you have no control over that. Would you be willing to destroy that at the point of creation? That was a mini yawn on that last one. Okay, well, I hope the second video has been helpful for you. Stick around for the third one. We're going to cover the third and final pillar that I see that is huge for healers to go from part-time to full-time, create their ideal healing practice, and to leave the stress and the sacrifice at the door and just move on into being of bigger service to the world. So stick around for that third video. Thank you so much. Feel free to share this video on Facebook. Feel free to share my business page at Spiritual Clarity so that more healers and more people can get this info, and hopefully we can have an even bigger shift and an even bigger change. Thank you. Oh, and community, of course. You got to share it with your community. I didn't even think of that plug. There you go. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.